over the Epstein Files, and then we're going to go over UFC in particular. A lot of people out there coping with the results, right? We're going to talk about all of that. Let's see here. False claims among latest Epstein Files, U.S. Department says. Okay, let's see if that's a bit old. That could be potentially old. No, it is not. December 23rd. Okay. U.S. government newly released documents from Epstein's files, untrue and sensationalist claims Donald Trump. Well, apparently, this particular article from ABC Australia that dropped in December 23rd said that this was false, but then it actually ended up releasing. So, all right, we're going to make the thumbnail for this right now, and we're going to get this thing cracking. Okay, so we're just going to make it really simple. We're going to put Epstein on the front and a little bit of some, he says, I saw the headline today that Rodin was on the list. Can you verify this? Rodin? Who's Rodin? Remind me who that, oh, Rogan. Oh, Rogan. Okay, bro files are disgusting. Yeah, I did not hear that, right? Joe Rogan seems like a very unlikely candidate to get into something like that. But then again, in today's reality, you never really know, right? So, all right, let's just making a thumbnail on this one right now. Yeah, so that's interesting, man. What brought up Joe Rogan into this whole entire thing? Joe Rogan is Mossad, according to Mario De Leon. It would not surprise me. Yeah, it would not surprise me at all. Because, look, I'll tell you something about Joe Rogan, right? 10 years ago, when I watched Joe Rogan, I felt like I was watching something innovative, something new, something different, something rebellious, something iconoclastic. I mean, it's a very simple format that Joe Rogan has going on, right? His format is, let's just come in here and let's talk about random things. I mean, even myself, I don't necessarily do that. I would come up with a title, with a topic. I mean, I'm just, you know, a normal standard YouTuber, right, in that sense, right? I follow the YouTube model. I make videos. Well, sometimes I do. Nowadays, it seems I do more live streams than I do videos, but that's okay, right? That seems to be what a lot of people prefer, I would assume, right, a live stream. But of course, I'm still going to make videos nonetheless because I'm just now starting to really understand and edit things out. But yeah, so Victory says, wouldn't surprise me either. I think he sold out to someone, and that is in reference to Joe Rogan. Victory says, I have the exact same opinion, Kyrie. I really used to like him 12 years ago. So Joe Rogan 12 years ago, as I told you guys, right, iconoclastic, somebody different, somebody cutting edge, right, didn't have a particular format, right, and we sort of embraced that, considering that we were becoming very distrustful of mainstream media. As a result of that distrust for mainstream media, we wanted to look for alternatives. In came the rise of Alex Jones. Joe Rogan is one of them, although I will say that Joe Rogan is sort of considered legacy media celebrity famous before he was internet famous, right? Now, I know that it seems that it's easy for everyone to say, yeah, Joe Rogan is the internet guy. You know what I mean? Joe Rogan is the internet guy. Jaden says, no, I believe not. You know, you're going to have to look for somebody else with deeper pockets, my man. You are barking up the wrong tree. You know what I mean? I know that little trick right there. It's a money grab nonetheless, which is what I think you are trying to do. But anyways, yeah, welcome Jaden. Welcome everyone. Welcome Mario De Leon. Welcome Victory, also known as Marty Miller. Yeah, so whoever you are behind the screen, right? That's sort of the point of this whole thing. You never know whoever you never know who is behind the scenes. So, and then here's staying off the grid. Yeah, and guess what? You're going into the shadow realm. Dang, you got hit with the shadow realm, both by me and Victory at the same time, right? So he just hit you with a double whammy like that, right? Like you were like basically a prey standing in the middle of the road and two cars just ran you over like you're nothing, right? Because that's what you are. You are nothing. Let me remind you again, a lot of you that talk smack online, okay, don't have $5,000 in your bank account. Okay, do you really want me to explain to you like how horrible your life is, that you would have to come in here and literally go out of your way to try and antagonize me just to feel better about yourself? Now, how absolutely pathetic is that, mate? That is absolutely pathetic. You know what, man? You're gonna have me bring out my British accent right now. Jaden says I subscribe. Thank you, my man. Also, make the rest of your family subscribe as well. Everybody that's in your family, make them subscribe. I don't care who it is, your whoever, right? Prince Andrew. Okay, so thank you for steering me towards that direction. It was a one-word comment, but nonetheless, all right. Prince Andrew, the biggest embarrassment of this whole entire royal family, right? The biggest embarrassment of the royal institution, to the point where they literally had to strip him out of his royal titles. So he is no longer Prince Andrew. He is no longer the Duke of Sussex, which I believe was the title that he has. Is he the Duke of Sussex? Let me just confirm to make sure of that, right? Prince Andrew. Okay, obviously member of the Mountbatten Windsor family tree. Duke of what? Duke of York. Okay, so he's the Duke of York. Obviously, there's the New York, and then there's the Old York, and he happens to be the Duke of that York, right? But anyways, yeah, 65 years old. Oh, how about this? His birthday is coming up just one day before Ramadan, right? It is coming up in February 19th. Cooper says the Duck King has arrived. What exactly makes me the Duck King? What exactly is it that I duck? Like, this is exactly what you're trying to make me duck, right? Is you who, let's take a look at your channel right now. You have 29 subscribers. Do you have any page or anything going on in your channel right now? No, you don't. No, you don't. So what exactly is it that I'm ducking from, Cooper, right? What exactly is it that I'm ducking from? You don't have any motion on the internet. I can't gain anything from you if I was to engage with you in a negative fashion. So what exactly am I ducking from? Because I don't duck anything. I don't duck fades. I don't duck the hard questions. I certainly don't duck the hard questions, okay? If that is one thing you can say about my channel, is that I let you guys speak your mind, even if it is something that is undesirable to me or something that I find reprehensible to a certain extent, of course. But we have to keep up with the YouTube guidelines. And quite frankly, I think the fact that I rarely curse probably helps with that, right? It probably helps having a clean channel, and nonetheless. But all right, going back to Prince Andrew. So he is the younger brother of King Charles, right? Usually the pest of the family and what have you, right? Usually the troublesome member of the royal family. So, okay, how about this? During a 45-day tour in Canada, June 29th, 5th of July, discovered that she was pregnant. Okay, so she was pregnant with this pedo over here. Royal Navy, that was some of the things that he had served under, right? So he was in the Royal Navy from 1979 to 2001. And then, obviously, once he got out the military, then he, yeah, got himself into all these scandals and all these troubles, like what most royals essentially do. So, okay, let's, I didn't even get the thumbnail going for this one yet, but okay. The other subject that we're going to talk about as well is MMA Guru. MMA Guru coping with the loss of Volkanovski. We're going to talk about that as well. Trauma Edit says, I've got a riddle for you. They're loud and obnoxious. They like music that rhymes. They're fraction of the population but commit half of the crimes. Who are they? I think what you are trying to demonstrate here, Trauma, is demonstrate a bit of some racial undertones, right? Now, although I do agree that there is a certain group of people that commit crimes, I think that I would be remiss to not remind you that I come from the city in Stockton, right? Oh, by the way, if you know anything about Stockton, it is literally one of the most diverse, gang-infested place in the world, right? Like, you literally have all types of gangs in Stockton. And guess what? The majority of those gangs are not that particular group that you are talking about right there. So what do you say to that, right? Because it depends what city you're talking about. Now, if you're saying that Chicago is a hellhole of a place because they constantly kill each other, I can't argue with you on that, right? But then if you go into the demographics of the people that are doing it, well, duh, it's no wonder that it is that particular population because they have a strong presence in Chicago. Right? So something to think about right there. But, you know, if you want to further elaborate on that, please let me know. And, yeah, man, we're going to get this thing on and cracking. And by the way, I happen to like playing my music loud. You know, especially when I'm driving down the beautiful California highway. I mean, it is just amazing, right? You know, having the windows down, blasting that Tupac, you know, the sun shining behind you. I mean, it is just California dreaming to the max, man. And that's sort of one of the things I want to capture in these live streams, right? You know, sort of capture the culture of California. Now, look, here's the funny thing about this, right? A lot of people really downplay California. They talk bad about California, especially white conservatives. Oh boy, listen, you talk to a white conservative, you know, in other parts of the country, they have so much horrible things to say about California. Well, let me say this. You can't afford to live here. You know what I mean? That's why you hate it. You can't afford to live here. That's why you hate it. That's why you down it. I need you to understand that nobody is making video games out of, let's say, you know, random people's states. Okay, nobody is making, you know, video games for, you know, the Midwest. Sometimes they do. Saints Row is, you know, Midwest derivative. Vice City, obviously, that's coming up in GTA 6. But think of this, right? They went to California twice in the GTA model. I need you to think about that. They went to GTA. GTA went to California twice. GTA San Andreas and GTA, yeah, GTA San Andreas story mode. You know, GTA 5, obviously. A little ginger right here. All right. So, yeah. If there's anything else you want to elaborate on that, Trauma Edits, you are more than welcome to. Okay? So, there's a lot in these files, okay? These Epstein files. John Jones is in the Epstein files, if you guys didn't know that. Apparently, Epstein's favorite fighters, or one of his favorite fighters, is John Jones. And so Fight Society made a video about how, okay, you know, this explains why John Jones is a pedo, right? He accuses John Jones of being a pedo because supposedly John Jones got a boner while he was wrestling with Hezbollah. First of all, why would you even look down there in the direction of John Jones? right? Like, that says a lot about you for you to have to look down there. I didn't even notice any of that. All I noticed was John Jones throwing this little kid around who looks like a baby, and that's really about it. So, I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. But he was also an avid UFC fan, you know, which is interesting, right? He was also an avid UFC fan. But let's see here.
So here we go. Getting a shit rear naked attempt that was never even close to being locked in. Kind of wild from Guru, man. It does upset him because it's like the only thing that he's good at and he's getting it wrong. If you know what I mean? Upset him. He's wrong himself, as in life.
So think about this, right? MMA Guru doesn't really have a lot going on in his life, right? He doesn't really have a lot going on other than, you know, obviously he has a successful channel. But other than a successful channel, what does he really have? Who is he? What is he going to do with this new profound fame and money that he has going on other than going to fishing trips with Bryce Mitchell and, you know, and then meeting UFC fighters, which is what you should be doing as an MMA streamer regardless, right? But in the beginning of his career, he just sat around and just stuck in his, you know, in his basement and never really went anywhere other than that, right? Never really diversified his content. He just stayed to pretty much a simple format and whatnot. But in any regard, he doesn't have anything in life, and he'll tell you that, right? So getting these wrong, he will feel some kind of way. Like me, I could really care less about whether I get predictions wrong or not. I tend to get a lot of predictions right. Now, I can't necessarily prove that in a statistical metric number that I could present in front of you like a graph chart. But what I can tell you is that for those that have watched you know, my channel long enough and especially tapped into the live streams that I do reacting to these fights, I can tell you that I do get a lot of these fights correct. Not all of them, but the ones that I don't get correct, I will tell you specific details of what they're going to do. They end up doing it. Yeah, just, you know, some things to, you know, sort of consider there, right? But I don't hang my hat on having an identity as somebody that, you know, supposedly needs to be right with, you know, predictions all the time. There are other things that I can contribute to the MMA space. For example, I could obviously contribute, you know, the political side of MMA, the business side of MMA, also the technical side of MMA, right? Because I obviously train, right, as you should if you are an MMA content creator. But a lot of the takes that MMA Guru has, it seems to be like one of those things where he just wants to see street beef, you know, slap fighting type of knockouts and just, you know, all-out brawls with no technicality behind it, disregarding anything to do with technique and how do you even call yourself a guru in MMA at that regard?
And I'm not throwing shade, well, I am kind of, but it's true. He said it himself, this is all I have in life. This is the only thing that I've got. So when he's wrong about picks, I think it really does upset him because it's like the only thing that he's good at and he's getting it wrong. If you know what I mean? Like, it's the only thing that he's got going for him and he's getting it wrong, and I think he's just coping about it. And it's not a big deal if you get picks wrong. I've got the past two main events wrong, same as Guru has, but I'm not out here coping. Oh no, Lopez won 3 rounds. He's got to take it on the chin and move on. Or the chins. I'm joking. He's actually really fucking well built. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll get started right away with this from Guru.
4-1 is vote. If they go 4-1, it's going to be vote. Oh, 50-45, did they say? Worst scored fight in history.
The worst scored fight in history, you say?
Now, why would he say that? Right? Why would he say that? The reason why he's saying that is because he thinks that because Lopez getting knocked down a couple of times constitutes as winning rounds. The thing is, it's not boxing, right? You win rounds in boxing by knocking somebody down, Okay, you win rounds in boxing by knocking somebody down. You don't win rounds in MMA by knocking somebody down, believe it or not. You guys know that, right? Like you don't get uh, an automatic 10-9 or a 10-8 score off a knockdown. Because in MMA, there's aspects of trips, there's aspects of pushing a guy, right? So that would be deemed as like slipping in boxing, right? Or if you sweep a guy, right, do some sort of judo trips or things of that nature, right? Like that would be rendered a slip in boxing, right? It would not count as a knockdown. So they don't score knockdowns for that reason alone.
About Jones Reyes, Aldo Batista, you know, Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Solberg, Cyril Gane versus Volkov. This is the worst scored fight in history, apparently. All right, this is the worst scored card ever because it was a 50-45 Volk. I don't agree with 50-45. I think Lopez won rounds 2. I agree with him. I think Lopez won round 2, but to say that he won 3 and 4, I think is a stretch, to be honest. But to say it's the worst scorecard in history is kind of extreme. I feel like
It is. I mean, look, there are worse fights out there that you could point at and say, you know what, this is the worst fight ever. This was not one of them. This is standard MMA. And unfortunately, I think MMA Guru is, turning into a casual. You know what I mean? Like, just to be honest with you about it, like he's kind of turning into a casual.
Wow. Terrible scorecards. Worst scorecards I've ever seen. How does he win a fucking round he got dropped in?
because it's not boxing, Guru. I mean,
there it is. There it is, right? Bromo will explain that to you. It's not boxing.
The MMA Guru here, the MMA Guru thinks that we score fights like boxing. You automatically win a round that you dropped someone in. Volk was winning that round. He got clipped and he fell. He did get dropped. I'm not taking away that, Lopez dropping him by any means. All right, but you don't get an instant 10-8 when you drop someone in MMA. That's not how the scoring criteria work.
Thank you. That's what I just explained right there, right? You don't get an automatic 10-8 just because you knocked somebody down. That's not how it works.
It's not boxing. All right, so if you're winning the entire round, all right, pretty clearly, I feel like, just because you get dropped at one point during that fight and there's no follow-up, there's no ground and pound or anything, you still win the round. You know what I mean? You don't just win it because you drop someone. It's not boxing. It's not how the sport is scored. Never has been.
How does he win a round he got dropped in? Pathetic scoring, Volk gets rewarded, shit fucking fight to watch. Worst I've seen in title fight history.
Worst fight in title fight history. This is the cope I'm talking about, because it really wasn't that bad. Like, look, was it the most entertaining match? Like, was it like Paddy and Gaethje for entertainment? No.
Oh my God.
Was it
Hold up.
much more high level?
Hold up. Okay, we got to read some comments here. I don't know why the comments are not popping up on on my phone right here. I'm looking right here and I see the comments. Okay, so all right, let me go back to the comments right here. Trauma Edit says, are you from Stockton? We have family out there. Yes. Mario DeLeon says it's 13%, but the numbers are fake. Okay, it's expensive. Yeah, I saw it. Number one, bullshit. Okay. Yeah, it's 13%, but the numbers are fake. Oh, okay, that's in regards to when we were talking about crime and whatnot. He says, yeah, I saw it. Number one, BS. Okay, so we're caught up in the chat on that one right there. Okay, let's go back to this.
Level. Absolutely. Volk put on a great showing, very high level. He's saying this is the worst fight in UFC title history when we had DDP Chimaev last year, which was objectively a lot more boring. Nothing really happened. I mean, he's acting like Volk was just like running away the whole fight. He wasn't. He was engaging when he needed to and had the perfect game plan. Nearly got a gilly at one point, which he'll mention in his fight recap. But to say it's the worst title fight in history,
So this is the thing that I really don't like about MMA Guru, right? He goes into extremes when he tries to describe things, right? And I don't think that's necessarily, the right way or the right approach. But I don't know. I think it kind of destroys his credibility over time. I think that it will destroy his credibility. But right now, I think there's plenty of idiots online that are going to love the sensationalist aspects that he brings into his content. So
It's just cope because you got it wrong. Really is.
Crazy, dull, boring fight. What the fuck is going on there? Close fight, y'all fucking dumb. Don Volt. He did not dominate the fight. Sorry. That was a really close fight.
It wasn't.
5-0 when he got dropped in round 3 badly.
It wasn't a bad. He didn't get dropped badly. He got clipped, he fell, and then he got right back up. He didn't get stunned. He didn't flop to the floor and like get up and be all like, "Woo!" He literally got clipped. He fell. He got dropped. It was like a flash knockdown, and then he got back up. But he didn't get dropped badly. So I don't know what he's on about. And again, it's not boxing, Guru.
yeah, that's something a lot of people really have to understand, right? In MMA, it is not boxing. So that means a knockdown is not going to be counted in the way that it is in the world of boxing.
You're the MMA Guru. You should know how fights are scored.
Even though he wasn't really badly hurt, it's a knockdown in a very competitive round. Got dropped, wins a round. Crazy. Sal definitely had that 5-0. Yeah, chat agrees with Sal D'Amato, though. But there you go, Volt wins. Volt's a good guy, but where's the urgency to hurt your opponent? Yeah, really dog shit fight there.
He's literally just salty because he got the pick wrong. That's the only explanation that I can actually think.
Now, isn't that pathetic if you really think about it? The fact that you got a pick wrong is the reason why you're going to cope hard and you're going to hang your whole entire identity on getting picks correct. Look, here's the thing, right? Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Picks don't mean anything in the world of MMA content creation. I'm going to be honest with you right now. As I told you, I've gotten a lot of my picks correct, but at the same time, if I got none of my picks, I think the same people who watch me will still watch me anyway. Because MMA content goes above and beyond just predictions or making parlays or this, that, and the other. I mean, that's, yeah, man, it's a small portion of the sport.
God. So why he's like going after El-Kheer, saying that he was a dog shit fight and this and that. No, it wasn't. What did he want Volk to do? Go in there and trade with Lopez?
All right, so we'll just skip around for a little bit, right? Obviously, the Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez fight happened. Let's hear what people are saying about this in the boxing world. Okay, let's hear what the boxing people are saying about this. So. All right, here we go. Let's hear this. Teofimo Lopez sounding very emotional after his loss.
Feel like a champ every time. So if you're going through hard times in your life, whether it's from any sports or academics or anything like that, it's okay. You're still a champ.
Throughout watching the fight week,
Hey. This is just getting weird. Very sad. And throughout this video, I'm going to talk about Teofimo, his recent interview post-fight, and how he's acting.
Let me read some of these comments right here. Video Gamer says, B Terror got the explosive face. Okay, would you smack Guru if you saw him in London? Tyler Betts says, yeah, I why not? Well, who knows what I'm going to do, right? I'm not going to incriminate myself, but if he doesn't press charges and he decides to have a mutual combat, why not? I would absolutely smack him. Why not? MMA Unk says hi. Well, shout out to you, MMA Unk. The video gamer says, what happened to that towel that you wear on your head? Okay, well, I've never really worn a towel in this channel, but I think that's just your way of, trying to speak to me in some racial innuendos and some racial undertones just to feel better about yourself. Haha, yeah, you wear a towel, haha. Well, how about this? Haha, you have nothing in your bank account. How about that? Right? Oh, is it starting to set in now? Like you're over here talking smack to somebody on a live stream and you probably don't even have $5,000 in your bank account. And yet you want to come over here and talk smack when you probably got a bunch of bills piled up. You probably got a whole bunch of issues going on. You are trying to stretch your dollar from like this week to that. I mean, let's really think about it, right? Yes, and Tyler Betts says he called you a broke boy. I mean, basically, because think about this, right? What do winners do when they come into a live chat, right? They don't go in there and just, randomly talk smack to somebody just for the heck of it, just for their entertainment. They're either going to like it or they're either not going to like it and just move on or swipe up or get to the next, video, right? But you're here because you want to feel better about yourself. He says, you look like an Eastern Islamic extremist. I'm going to be whatever you want me to be, but I'll tell you what would be extreme, right? Is the fact that if you were to ever meet me in person, I would absolutely do real and extreme, volatile damage to you to which you will never recover from. That's the God honest truth. Tyler Betts says boxing ego is a huge tank missile rider and copper. He hates the Haney's with a passion, and bans anyone in his chats that have a different opinion. Yeah, here's the thing, right? Do I do that as well? Do I not do that as well? I think I do, right? The reason why I do that is because, look, you guys got it really messed up, right? Like, you really think that you can come in here and, just abuse any creator that you want. Look, we can choose to send you to the Shadow Realm, which basically we ban you, for 24 hours or maybe even longer. And, and that's that. But by the end of the day, you guys keep coming back. It's that dude, I don't know what his name is from A Can of Paint, but he always comes here and says a whole bunch of things. Like a whole bunch of people, hundreds of people come in here and talk a whole bunch of smack. But the reality is the reality, and I don't have to platform you. I don't even have to read anything that you say because, once again, you don't have $5,000 in your bank account and your life sucks. So you need to get right to it. You need to step it up, right? Because I'm over here trying to step it up, trying to build, a different stream of revenue for myself. Meanwhile, what are you doing? You're coming here in this chat talking smack just so you can feel better about yourself. If you're not talking smack and you're talking respectful and you're engaging the way that you're supposed to, then, I salute you. But if you're not, then you can go to hell and you can kiss my ass because I'm going to beat your ass at the same time while you're kissing it. But anyways, so there it is. All right, here we go. Next one. Bro crashing out. You think this is crashing out? Like, what exactly is the definition of crashing out? If the definition of crashing out is going at trolls, then, I mean, look, isn't that the entertaining part about this live stream, though, if you really think about it, right? The conflict that comes with it. As much as look, here's the thing. The main attraction to this channel is conflict. Yes, you want the news. Yes, you want an aspect of communicating with the fellow creator and then having meaningful discussions in the world of MMA, but then it turns into other things. It turns into political, then it turns into religion. Then you got this dude over here. I don't even want to say your name, right? He says, you look Eastern Islamic extremist, and then goes and says hi. What is going on is that you are an NPC, my man, and this is indicative of the fact that you are hitting that button that says said hi. Right? Because you just, that's your personality. That's a lot of people's personality in a nutshell. They want things to be easy and simple, and I get it. And I get it because here's the thing, right? Easy and simple is expensive. Okay? Just like, I'm sure a lot of you guys, can't afford to have somebody else mow your own lawns. You guys are never going to know what that's like. That sucks, man. You know what I mean? For those of you haters that are talking all that smack, you're never going to know what that's like. You're never going to know what it's like to have somebody do your own stuff for you because you can afford it, right? Meanwhile, here you are, you're talking all of this, tough talk, this tough MAGA talk, talking about like, yeah, man, we need to get the illegals out of here. We need to get all these illegals up out of here. Meanwhile, you don't even have $1,000 in your bank account. Now, how sad is that? He says, I own my own business. You know what? Here's the thing, right? I think that doesn't count in this world. I'm going to tell you why. It doesn't count here, okay? Because number one, let's take a look at your channel. All right? 2 subscribers. There you go. And you don't have a profile pic. And you own your own business. I could really care less. There's no way of verifying that. And quite frankly, I don't really care. Tyler Betts says, I work for him. You do? Okay. Well, that's not verified either. I think you're just saying that out of banter and, and just to be funny. But you know your own real. He says it's a personal channel. What it is that you don't have any motion. Right, and you should take that personal. You should take it personal that I'm telling you, you will never have motion on YouTube, even if you tried. And that's why you come in here and you say all of these disparaging things. You say things about Islamic extremists and this and that. You don't even know me from a can of paint, right? How do you know that I'm not some, special forces guy or some CIA guy or something like that? And then you're over here talking about I'm, the T word. How do you know that? He says, I don't YT for a job. He says, I don't YouTube for a job. Okay. So no one really knows what you do. No one really cares. Here's another thing, right? There's a guy that came in here on a consistent basis, right? His name was Fresh Melon Juice. We don't see him in here anymore. I don't know why. Marty, who's also, a regular in the chats here, one of my moderators at that, recognizes him every time he comes in here, right? He's very prominent, says a whole bunch of things. Oh, yeah, let's bring Fresh Melon Juice in here. He says all racist things or this and that. Well, yeah, no wonder he says racist things because check this out. He's apparently 14 years old or a teenager or younger or maybe older. We don't know, nor does that really matter. Anybody can get online and say who they are. Then he says he's 6'8". Then he says he's 300 pounds. Then he says he's, a CIA agent, which, by the way, doesn't make any sense because if you are 6'8" and 300 pounds, trust me when I tell you, you would not be a CIA agent because you are too prominent to be seen in places of field operations and missions that is important to the interests of the United States, right? So, once again, people are saying in the chat they miss him. Look at Victory over here talking about R.I.P. Fresh. Like, we don't even know if he's a real human being. Let's be honest about that, right? We don't know if he's an FBI agent that's posing as, undercover just to kind of like, keep monitor of the chats. Because, let's be honest, right? Like, it would not be far-fetched to have that type of situation going on. I mean, look at what people are saying in the chat about me and then some of the things that I've told you guys about California in general. So you guys understand that, that could be a reality. So he could be anybody. We don't know. Or he could just be, a random lonely bloke that doesn't have any motion, doesn't have anything going on. And, maybe he comes and taps into my channel and feels positive about some of the things that I talk about. Because, hey, listen, let's not really mince words, right? As much as I go out and talk about a lot of negative stuff, talk about a lot of negative news, and even go at negativity for negativity with some of the people in the chat, always remember that I've also brought in a lot of positive reinforcement, right? I use mixed martial arts as a way to describe life, describe the beauty of life, describe the challenges of life. But on any regard, I don't miss him because I don't know him from a can of paint. So just like you, T-A-H, whatever your name is, Tawan Tree, I don't know what, how to pronounce that. I don't really know you, nor do I really care. Like, you say that you don't have a profile pic. I don't know what you look like, and that's primarily your own business. So, everybody always says, they own a business, right? I own my own business. This is the most common thing that a lot of unemployed people say, right? You go to a coffee shop in LA or in Sacramento or anywhere in California where I'm at, and you see just random people that are in the they're in the cafes day in and day out, and then you ask them, well, what is it that you do? Oh, well, I own my business. And sometimes maybe they do, but let me ask you this: everybody who's anonymous online, everybody who's anonymous on YouTube owns a business? Make that make sense, right? Everybody who is anonymous. Now, obviously, it's a little bit different with me. I've showed you guys receipts of who I am, some of the life experiences that I've had, right? Whether it's military, or whether it's street stuff, or whether it's car business, or whether it's MMA. All of these things are verified. I am a real person. This is why I don't have to go and name my channel some sort of name to attract people like, oh, no bromo MMA, or no disrespect to him, but I don't even know his real name. Like, imagine that. That's what people are gonna come up to you in the middle of the streets is, hey, MMA Joey. They're calling you MMA Joey, and you ain't done no MMA in your life other than watch it and then have a channel about it. Imagine that, right? And then they're going to call you MMA Guru, right? Your name is MMA Guru. People don't even know that your name is Kyle Me, for crying out loud, right? You're known as MMA Guru. Hey, Guru. Like, imagine that. You're a white man and your name is Guru. Like, how dumb is that? You're a white man and your name is Guru, like, on some real Indian, stuff going on. What's going on here? No one knows your real name. I mean, we in the hardcore MMA YouTube space, we know your name, but to the wider public, they don't know your name because in reality, you really are a nothing. You've done nothing in your life. And if I was you, I would be highly depressed. And I would highly, absolutely hate myself. You know what, guys? I'm going to tell you something, right? I come across sometimes as a very angry person, and I understand that. But trust and believe, if I did not have, a good life, I'm telling you, I would be an even worse person, right? Because I got nothing going on, right? So of course I'm going to be mad. Of course I'm going to be angry. You only can be happy if you got things going on. And a lot of you don't got nothing going on. You say that you do because you want to cope, because you want to have the moral high ground when you go and you try and roast me on the chats or whatever, and you try to talk smack. So you go and you have the moral high ground. Oh, I own a business. I own a business. I remember this idiot, right, that I got into it with, right? He tried to test me online. We, in a video chat at No Chill MMA's channel, right? His name is Dylan, right? And so, he tries to like play me or whatever, or this, that, and the other. And then, and then I heard him say, well, I have 2 apartments. I'm like, this and that. I'm like, bro, listen, you don't own 2 apartments. Like, who says they own 2 apartments? So this is what I mean, right? Every single one of you say who you are without really offering any receipts whatsoever. No receipts whatsoever. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. Prove it. Show me. You know what I mean? And a lot of people can't do that. So, that's a sad reality. He says, Big Red. What is Big Red? Explain what you mean by Big Red. I said that that's a sad reality. So, always remember, the majority of you who talk smack online, you're only going to get, 1 or 2 options. Okay, number 1, I'm going to send you to the Shadow Realm and ban you completely, or I'm going to keep you here and roast you and remind you that you don't have $5,000 in your bank account and you really need to work on your life. He says, Dylan Chalkins. Dylan Chalkins? Are you talking about Derek Chovian, or, yeah, who is Dylan Chalkins? Explain who that is.
That's a silly game plan. After he's been chinned twice in the past from, you know, Ilya and then Islam, you know, you think he's going to come in there with Lopez and just go, you know, I can. MMA Guru wants me to go and have a fucking barn burner and a fucking scrap. I'll do it just because he wants me to. No.
There it is. Once again, it reminds me of the stupidity of a lot of you online, right? You want Volkanovski to go in there and have a brawl when his predisposition of MMA is to fight methodical, fight careful, and fight in a very technical manner. He said, you said you were getting roasted by Dylan on, oh, okay, No Chill MMA. Yeah, Dylan. Yeah, No Chill MMA is the page. And then this guy named Dylan. And then he said something to the effect of, I own 2 apartments. He was a Washington, D.C. guy. I know what it means when you say you own 2 apartments in Washington, D.C. It means that you have, your own apartment, which you're barely, keeping up with the rent, right? Like, let's just be honest about that. You live in Washington, D.C. And then the second apartment is probably from either a relative or a significant other of some sort. So you can't play me with none of that. Oh, I own 2 apartments or this and that. I've heard it all. Remember, I live in California, right? Where everybody's story is, yeah, I'm a producer. I'm, in between gigs. I'm in between movie roles. Says everybody who's broke in the coffee shop. You know what I mean? But hey, listen, man, by the end of the day, I want you guys to understand that, life is a temporary existence, right? None of this really matters, right? Who's broke and who isn't, or this and that. It's only the people who are really broke that bring it up, because once you know that you really have it and you got life figured out going on, man, it's just, a normal everyday occurrence, and you don't really think about it. You don't think about no broke people. You don't think about no haters. You know what I mean? Like, why is it that everybody in the hood who got no motion going on, they always say, oh, I got haters or this and that? No, you don't got haters. What you got is a repetitive, line from a rap song that is embedded in your head, and you are now living that thinking, you know what, maybe I got haters too. I listen to Drake all day. I listen to Kendrick Lamar all day. They talk about how they got haters. Maybe I got haters too. I listen to 50 Cent. He's got haters. I got haters too. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what is going on with you people. It's really sad. Like, really sad, pathetic existence that a lot of you have. And that is the reason, that is a long-formed, long-winded answer as to why some of you talk smack online just to feel better about yourself. Because guaranteed, if you're going to catch me on a live stream, on the chats in a live stream, I'm either going to say positive things, and if the guy is an op, or if it's a guy that I don't like, or if it's an enemy, I'm not even going to bother with it. He says, sorry, y'all, I ain't got no haters. All I got is suits and tailors. Huh? Is that a rap line? Is that from Jay-Z, or is that from 50 Cent? Let me know who said that line. That sounds like a bar, or maybe you created that yourself, and maybe we have ourselves a talented ghostwriter rapper in our midst here, but who knows? But yeah, okay. Anyways, going back to MMA Guru and his coping with Alex Volkanovski.
It was a good game plan. He's not going to go in there and...
Okay, so that's Ice Cube that said that. Okay, sorry, I got no haters. All I got is suits and tailors. Okay, got it. Okay.
Scrap with Lopez. He's going to fight Lopez's fight. He's going to do his fight. He's going to dictate the pace. And to say that it's boring because you didn't get your pick right, and because it wasn't a Street Beefs-esque low IQ scrap like last week's fight.
Exactly. That's what a lot of you like. You like low IQ scraps, low IQ conversations, low IQ, low frequency vibrations and interactions. That is a reality of many of you. And that is why many of you are casual fans for this reason alone.
It's just silly. You're the MMA guru. You should know high level when you see it and appreciate that shit, man. But Guru just wants barn burner scraps. He just wants street beef scraps, it seems like. You know? Which is a shame, because this is a great performance by Evolve. Proved everyone wrong. Well, not everyone, but all the doubters wrong, including me. I was doubting Volk. Okay, he proved me wrong. And I'm glad he did. I wanted Volk to win. Seems like...
All right, let's go back to Teofimo Lopez and Steven Shakur.
In trying to embrace the Shakur Stevenson loss. I find it a bit bizarre, and I'll take you through it to let you know why that I feel this way. It was a bad loss. The Shakur Stevenson loss was definitely a bad loss. Teofimo's face looked rearranged by Shakur. They said Shakur ain't got no pop, but why is Teo's face looking like that? So,
by the way, full disclosure, I did not see this fight live. I saw it after the fact because I was here covering UFC 325, and as a result, that was going on at the same time.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. Asana AI can spot roadblocks and assign work to keep everything on track. That's how work gets handled. Visit us at asana.com.
There's an
Hey, notice how the roast thing went down when I started reminding everybody that they don't have $5,000 in their bank account, right? Like, does reality start to set in? Like, I'm over here talking smack to this guy, and I don't even have my life together. Like, imagine that. Imagine how pathetic you would have to be to cope in such kind of weird manner. I mean, I don't know, man.
interview from the Stomping Ground. The link will be in the description. T.O. sounds like he's feeling sorry for himself. In the interview, he says, I hate myself. What? I hate myself. Very bizarre behavior.
See, and a lot of you that talk smack online, a lot of you also really hate yourselves, right? The only difference is that you can't express it in a combat sports setting. You can't express it as a rapper. You can't express it as an actor. You can't express it through arts or any type of leisure, right? But at least with Teofimo Lopez, he has a platform and an athletic career to let all this out. And now he's letting it all out and being real to himself. And that's the reason why a lot of you are not even talking smack on the comment section anymore, right? Because I just reminded you that you don't even have $5,000 in your bank account. And as a result, that is setting in on you, right? With all of your bills piling up, all the things that you got going on in life. All of those things are starting to set in as you're over here talking smack to me, a guy who probably doesn't have the type of problems that you have. Anyways.
Guru just won.
Oh, wrong one.
Now, the clip you heard at the beginning, he was saying something like, hey, you're still a champ, and if you try anything, whether it's boxing or kickball, you're playing tennis or foosball, you're still a champion at heart. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, T.O. Nobody. And I'll explain why. But listen to this.
On your career? No, not at all. I hate myself for it, but it's part of it. No, not
So far in your career?
no, not at all.
You give yourself time to reflect and appreciate how well you've done so far in your career?
No, not at all. I hate myself for it, but it's part of it. It's just part of the life.
You gotta appreciate it as well.
I don't appreciate it. That's why.
Oh, shit.
I don't. I think that I get butchered, and I think God punishes me a lot for it. So I'm just a punching bag to that. So one day I'll get, maybe one day, but not yet.
We appreciate. He gonna cry in the car. Man, my grandmama gave me that chain. Sounding ad. He sound like Red from Friday. Man, my grandmama gave me that chain. He gonna cry.
I'm going to have to agree with, well, I agree with Teofimo Lopez, but then I also kind of agree with boxing ego as well. Let me explain why, right? You never want to show emotions to the world. Do men cry? Do men have moments of solitude or moments of just wanting comfort or wanting some sort of like emotional help? Yes, we're all human beings. This is true, but don't put it out on the internet ever. Don't ever show any sorrows. Right? Apologizing is one thing, right? Admitting when you're wrong about something, but then to also admit defeat, people love that. They will eat it up. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Punk ass bitch. This and that. Like I remember when McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather, right? Floyd Mayweather's daughter, right? The stupid low IQ idiot that she is, okay, flat out said, I don't know why. McGregor's so happy he just got his ass whooped. I'm like, well, listen, little girl, listen, here's something that you don't understand about the world. That man just made $100 million, right? And he lost in a sport that's not even a sport that he does full time. So, yeah, he's happy about that because you never really earned anything in your life other than just being Mayweather's daughter, so you don't really understand or know about that. But anyways.
Ryan Carr. There's no way, like, you hear the quakiness in his voice. Like, I understand nobody like to lose.
They'll get maybe one day, but it's a punching bag to that.
Bro, he called himself.
I'm just a punching bag to. I'm just a punching bag to that.
What?
I'm just a punching bag, and I think God punishes me a lot for it. So,
bro, get this man out of here. Link in the description so you can watch the uncut interview.
All right, so yeah, basically Teofimo Lopez sounds emotionally broken right now, and that's that. Okay, let's get back to MMA Guru. Oh, okay, you know what? Let's switch back to the Epstein Files, right? Because we're obviously going to jump around different topics right here. So, okay. Because there's millions of them, right? You have millions of them. And yeah, there's a lot. He says 3 million new Epstein Files explained in 10 minutes, according to Michael Knowles. All right, let's hear what Michael Knowles has to say
Hand
about
off your
this.
taxes to an expert in your neighborhood. Now, your TurboTax expert can file.
The Department of Justice has released 3 million previously unseen documents, pictures, and videos related to Jeffrey Epstein. I spent the weekend going through more of them than I probably should have. Some of the claims in the files are shocking. The names in the files are a who's who of the most influential people in the world, some that I hadn't even seen before. And this is the most important thing. I have never been more vindicated on my prediction back when all this Epstein stuff began. I'm Michael Knowles. This is the Michael Knowles Show. Like Homer's Odyssey. And Helen of Troy, a new movie about the Odyssey. Welcome back to the show. Christopher Nolan is doing a new movie about the Odyssey, like Homer's Odyssey. And Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman in the Greek world, will be played by Lupita Nyong'o. Some people are surprised by this casting. Seems a little anachronistic, doesn't quite seem to fit the story.
Okay, so he's talking about just something else right now. Let's get to
that
this.
with some are calling the face that launched it. This Epstein stuff, man. Thanks a lot, DOJ. Thanks a lot. I know we've been calling for more transparency on Epstein, and even when it comes to transparency, I think what people really want is just justice for people who have committed crimes. And what they want even more than that is to just know who this guy was. Who was Jeffrey Epstein? What does he represent? I think that's really, when people talk about Epstein, that's what they really want. And one way they talk about it is by saying, we need justice for the victims, and the more abstracted way they talk about it is, we need transparency. We actually don't need transparency over a lot of how our government and Justice Department function. Certain activities of the government, just like activities of business, actually do require some secrecy, some classification. So it's not that we're saying everything needs to be declassified, everything needs to be transparent. We just want to know, one, we want justice to be done, but two, we want to know who this man is. One of the most revealing places to begin is this series of media training sessions that Steve Bannon, former chief strategist at the White House and of the Trump campaign, Trump won, that he had with Jeffrey Epstein. Apparently Epstein hired Steve Bannon as a media consultant or something like that. And so this gives people, pretty much for the first time, the opportunity to hear Epstein in his own words. And I'm just going to play a brief clip. I mean, there are hours and hours of this footage. But here's a little brief clip of Epstein talking about one of the big problems in children's education.
Potentially one of the bad things to teach children is how to write. With writing, reading, and arithmetic was supposed to be, everyone's supposed to be taught. But writing forces you into a very narrow channel of thinking. You have to write in a certain form, in a certain way, in a certain linear pattern. So your thinking becomes somewhat narrow. The reason I brought up writing is one of the...
You know what? What's weird about that? That's actually, really brilliant if you think about it, right? He says, can you show us how to do a tornado kick step by step quick? I wish I could right now, but sometime. Maybe I'll do shorts on it. How about that, right? So that you can get a tutorial on that. He says, my man Kyrie, how you doing? Very good afternoon. I hope you're doing well as well. Obviously a crazy world that we are living right now. All these Epstein files going on. Now, Epstein just said something really interesting here, right? He said that I think writing puts you in this narrow path, right? I sort of agree with that. You know who's really good at penmanship when it comes to students? Put it like this, right? Asians. They're very good at writing cursive, right? As classically trained and all of that. But guess what? It's very formulaic. And quite frankly, there's a certain group of people that are considered smart, but really they're just formulaic because they know how to read and regurgitate the information that is given to them, rather than actual critical thinking or creative thinking of some sort, which is is vastly different for other people's ability.
Recent discoveries of mine with respect to Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle is they never wrote anything. They spoke, and people around who could write wrote. Socrates could think. So that was...
Jesus of Nazareth was the same way, right? Never wrote anything.
I thought he was a carpenter.
He was.
You know what? The Prophet Muhammad was that, right? The Prophet Muhammad never wrote. People wrote the Quran. In fact, people memorized the Quran. So that's a very interesting take right there.
Didn't he need like a little carpenter's tool? I don't want to get that.
At least his written record.
Right.
One last thing.
Thank you for having me to your house.
Okay, so I have 3 takeaways from this brief clip. 1, he doesn't know how to respond when Bannon brings up Christ. That was a little freaky. We've talked about occult aspects of the Epstein operation, and the weird pagan-looking temple on the island, and some of the weird...
Yeah, look, I'm just going to, answer that flat out, right? There's nothing unusual about that. He just doesn't know anything about it. Look, put it like this, right? How do you expect a non-religious Jew to even know anything about other religions? I want you to think about that, right? So when you analyze it and look at that, you start seeing, all right, you know what? That could be some kind of plausible reality to analyzing this. Right? The fact that he just doesn't understand or know about religion. It's not because, somehow the minute somebody mentions Jesus, that it's somehow going to be this, magnetic power force field of of some sort of, what do you call it? Like, kind of like with vampires, right? Like, when it becomes morning time, you open up the window and next thing you know, everything is shining towards the vampire, and the vampire is evaporating before your eyes because of the sunlight. No, it is not that same thing when you mention Jesus Christ to Epstein.
Rituals and practices that are referenced in some of these emails and by some of the people who were in the emails, and he reacts in a way, it's not even spooky as much as it is goofy. I thought he was a carpenter. What does he need? Little carpenter's tools? Or what? What? Very odd. Not odd, actually, if you read the Bible, because,
I mean, that's not really the worst assessment in the world. I mean, it's not like I'm defending Jeffrey Epstein here or anything, but I'm just calling a spade based on what I'm watching.
the name of Christ does scare demons. It kind of freaks them out. They don't know what to make of it. But the second thing that strikes me is that this guy has a very silly voice. You would expect, I would have expected Jeffrey Epstein, this guy, lots of money, harem of women, some of them underage, but some of them above age, just like women, money, yachts, booze, fancy people, billionaires and statesmen and scientists, all these people all around him. You kind of expect him maybe to sound like James Bond or something, this international man of mystery, and yet he sounds like a slightly dodgier Woody Allen. Like a more morally suspect Woody Allen. Well, Steve, it's funny you... He sounds like Dr. Fauci. Can you just play me like 5 seconds of that clip? Am I mistaken to say...
Potentially one of the bad things to teach children.
Okay, all right, pause it right there. So it's more Woody Allen than Dr. Fauci. Potentially one of the bad things, but it's still got a little bit of that Dr.
All right, so this is all performative right here. Obviously, making fun of his voice and this and that. I think that whenever we think of a prominent person or a person of position of power, we often have this weird imagination that they are bigger than life. Right, when in reality they are just normal people. Anyways.
Fauci, because if you just lower it a little bit, potentially one of the bad things to teach children is that you get no, but you get to pass. So he sounds, look,
Hi, my name is Tami, and I would like to give you a view reason.
To teach children.
Okay, all right, pause it right there.
Ghostbuster says shady people, correct.
So it's more Woody Allen than Dr. Fauci. Potentially one of the bad things, but it's still got a little bit of that Dr. Fauci, because if you just lower it a little bit, potentially one of the bad things to teach children is that you get no, but you get to pass. So he sounds, look, I guess he's a New Yorker. All right, there you have it.
What that is a transatlantic accent, right? Very similar to what Mr. Burns from The Simpsons have, right? They have this lineage that comes from England or maybe even other parts of Western Europe, and very aristocratic-like. But at the same time, yeah, it has a little bit of an American twang to it, right? Andrew Tate is an example of that, but that's a little bit more of a rougher edged version of a transatlantic accent. His leans more towards American accent than it does towards a British accent.
He sounds goofy. The words he says, his responses to questions are kind of goofy. He's not as quick on his feet as you would expect. His voice sounds kind of goofy. And then, hold on, let me get back to the first claim he made. He said we shouldn't teach children to write because the smartest people in history, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, didn't write. There's just one problem. Plato and Aristotle definitely wrote. They wrote a lot. They sort of famously wrote.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But yes, the Prophet Muhammad did not. He memorized the Quran. Later on, people wrote the Quran through the memorization of the entire book. But, all right, let's skip around this just to get to a little bit of the juicier parts here.
He also looked into security in Sochi for you. He said, regardless, he will still need to go to Russia tomorrow to sort out his Russian passport, which expires at the end of September. So he will still fly back to New York on the 19th. He will be happy to go back to Russia with you on September 26th if you go. Okay. How is Jeffrey Epstein getting appointments with Putin, the, at this time, leader of Russia for over 10 years? Is he, okay, let's just put this in the column of maybe he was working with the KGB. If he's a super spy, maybe he was working with the Russians. Next one. This is an email from a sultan in Dubai, Sultan bin Sulayman, a big business leader in Dubai. Dear Jeffrey, I'm attaching some media clipping regarding the Israeli operation in Dubai. I will call you around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. What happened doesn't help anyone. This is from Wednesday, February 17th, 2010.
I think I know what happened here, right? I believe it was when they had the Israelis sent Mossad to go assassinate someone of a Hamas leadership position in Dubai. I believe, yeah, that was 2010 or so.
Don't remember this particular Israeli operation in Dubai. This would seem to imply that Epstein is either working with the Israelis. He's saying, hey, I want to talk to you about this Israeli operation. Okay, maybe he was working with the Israelis. It might also imply maybe he was working with the Arabs. Why is the Sultan reaching out to Epstein? Is Epstein a go-between between the Arabs and the Israelis? Next one.
Now, from what it seems like, right, everything that you are gathering from all of this is that Epstein seems to be a very prominent figure in the world of international politics and diplomacy. Okay, now you can understand and see exactly why people are saying he faked his death. People are saying that he didn't kill himself and this, that, and the other. I mean, this man is involved in a whole lot of stuff. But $60 billion of a net worth, and we don't even know where this money came from. That right there, look, it's one thing to understand where Elon Musk gets his money from. What we didn't understand is where Jeffrey Epstein gets his money from and how.
This is an email from Jeffrey Epstein to blank. He passed away. It says Robert Maxwell threatened Mossad. And there are all sorts of weird typos and kind of odd formatting errors, maybe just in the way these emails were exported. But Robert Maxwell was the spy, reportedly...
I want you to keep in mind also, right, they did not put everything in here. Because what they probably did in the intelligence agency departments is look at this and sort of skim through, and vet all of this information. All right, you know what? This we need to be classified because we need to protect the identity of this person. This person is an asset. This person is, is helpful to, U.S. interests abroad, or he's helpful to the particular mission that we are conducting right now in terms of finding intel or dirt from one official to another from another part of the world that could be of some interest to the United States. So there's just a lot going on, right? But yet they were able to release 6 million documents. Now, how many other million more that they sort of swept under the rug or redacted?
A double or possibly triple agent for Israel. And
triple agent, there you go. That is not far-fetched, yeah.
Russia and maybe the British.
He says, a teacher with a very high salary. Teacher with a very high salary. Are you talking about Jeffrey Epstein? He says, but I'm your biggest fan. Okay, shout out to you, Brad, on that one.
Who had a big media empire. He was the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the girlfriend and madam for Jeffrey Epstein. And Robert Maxwell died under very suspicious circumstances and got a funeral in Israel. So Robert Maxwell threatened Mossad, writes Jeffrey Epstein.
I would say inheritance then, right? Why he's a teacher? Probably because he, was passionate about it. I mean, you're a teacher, you get to be around kids. You know what I mean? He says, your biggest fan is Republicans, Vance. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he is. Yes, he is. Definitely he is. Yeah. And I love his comments, too. He'll make, like, an infomercial about it. Guys, like and subscribe to Kyrie Abu El-Kheer. He lets you say whatever he wants, except for anti-Islamic statements or things that will make him mad or angry. But other than that, don't say anything that will make him mad or angry, and then you're good. And then other than that, he's, one of the best creators ever because he lets you say whatever he wants. Like, I'm sure there's other creators out there that don't let you say what you want. But on any regard, yeah. Shout out to Republican Vance. There goes another one. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust, and fresh melon juice as well.
He told them that unless they gave him 400 million pounds to save his crumbling empire, he would expose all he had done for them.
You know what? It is also possible that fresh melon juice could be catfishing from, let's say, somebody that I know in my past, right? Like, you ever thought about that? Like, what if he was a guy that was a catfish from, my past? Like, what if it was like some hater in high school or something, or like a coworker that, was just laying in the cuts, and I never even knew him from a can of paint, nor did I even know of his presence in the workplace, and then he just decide to just come and troll me as this fresh melon juice character, but you never know.
In that time, he had free access to Margaret Thatcher's Downing Street, Ronald Reagan's White House, to the Kremlin, and to the corridors of power throughout Europe. Maxwell passed on all the secrets he learned to Mossad in Tel Aviv. In turn, they tolerated his excesses, vanities, and insatiable appetite for a luxurious lifestyle and women. He told his controllers...
Oh, well, if he has, he probably has already, right? And we just don't know it, right? It could be either one of these, randoms, perhaps.
Who they should target, how they should do it. He appointed himself as Israel's unofficial ambassador to the Soviet bloc, okay? So, we don't know who this is to. This could insinuate...
So, Israeli ambassador to the Soviet bloc. So that means he has ties with Israel, Soviet Union, the United States. I can see why the United States uses him as a certain level of interest.
That Epstein had a relationship with Mossad. It could insinuate that he didn't really. Maybe he was not particularly pro-Israel, in as much as he's accusing Israel of murdering Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell, who had been working with Israel, and I guess the Russians and the Americans and the British. Was he a...
And that is why the Israelis probably unalived him, was for that reason. Because he was working with everybody, and you can't put all your eggs in one basket, or have your hands in different cookie jars, I suppose. Victory says, there was only one person I thought might have been him, but it wasn't. Okay, let me know who it is if you have that one in mind, but if you say that he's not, then all right, we'll leave it alone.
Drupal agent. Next one. From Jeffrey Epstein to Joy Ito.
Ghostbuster says he's still alive.
Epstein writes, talk today. He says, my schedule's a bit crappy, but I could call from the car. Where will you be? By the way, I'm trying to get a friend out of prison in Syria. You don't happen to have anyone with influence over Assad, do you? And Jeffrey Epstein responds, not for email. This is one of my favorite emails in the entire batch. And actually, there are a number of emails like this. Not for email. All the stuff this guy is emailing about.
So this person is asking, he's asking Epstein, do you know anybody in the Assad regime? And let's take a look at what date this was. 2015. So this was Wednesday, 21st October 2015. Okay? And he says not for email. So in other words, he's not telling you, no, I don't know anyone in Syria. He's saying that there's a great chance he knows people in Syria. So yeah, this dude was really deep into a whole lot of stuff, and now you can kind of understand and see why there would be a potential cover-up.
Weird sex stuff, international intrigue between really every sector of the entire globe, scientific secrets. Did I mention weird sex stuff? All the stuff Jeffrey Epstein emails about. Joking or not joking about killing people, and yet Jeffrey Epstein knows some things are really not to be put in writing. Including, do you have influence over Assad? Is influence over Assad? Now is he working for the Syrians? If Jeffrey Epstein knows that some things are not for email, and his emails are this titillating, what on earth is not in the emails? And what influence did Jeffrey Epstein have over Assad? Okay, now let's try to nail in on which intelligence agencies, if any, he was working for. Here's an email from a guy named Greg Brown to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey, this is from 2011. Understood, remember, there are already $80 billion in frozen assets internationally, of which $32 billion are in the U.S. It's estimated that the real number is somewhere to 4 times this amount in sovereign, stolen, misappropriated assets, blah, 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 blah. They're talking about Libya, right during that Libya operation. Look at all this Libyan money that's up for grabs. Here's the key. They're talking about the law firm they've retained. It would be to our advantage to pay them on an hourly basis and initially go after the low-hanging fruit, which would enable us to keep more of the money. I also have friends formally, I don't know if they mean formally, like officially, or formerly, because there are a lot of typos in these emails. I also have friends formally with MI6 and Mossad willing to help identify stolen assets and help them get recovered. This is a weird email because the claim that we've been hearing is that Jeffrey Epstein worked with Mossad. And maybe with U.S. intelligence, maybe with Russian intelligence, and who knows, maybe with Allied intelligence generally, so that would include MI6. So if this guy's emailing Jeffrey Epstein, why would he have to say, well, hey, look, I know some people in Mossad? That would seem to imply that Epstein's not Mossad. Gets even more complicated. Jeffrey Epstein writes a letter to the CIA under the Freedom of Information Act asking for any information the CIA has on him. But Epstein doesn't write the email himself. I got to give a hat tip here to Mike Benz. Mike Benz identified this email under the 3 million. He writes the letter from his lawyer, so it would not necessarily come out that Jeffrey Epstein had requested this file. And the lawyers say, hey, we don't know exactly what the lawyers requested. We do, however, know the CIA's response, and this is very, very interesting. Let's pull up the CIA's response. Do we have it? Okay. Dear Mr. Weinberg, Epstein's lawyer, on July 25th, 2011, the Office of Information Privacy Coordinator received your letter request providing additional information pertaining to your client, Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Since you have provided the necessary information, we processed Mr. Epstein's request in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act and the Privacy Act. We searched for CIA-originated responsive records that might reflect an open or otherwise acknowledged agency affiliation existing from November 5th, 1999, the date of our previous...
So it's no longer a conspiracy that this guy was tied in with, different types of agencies, right? It's definitely not, a secret anymore.
Acceptance letter to July 25th, 2011, the date we accepted Mr. Epstein's current request, we were unable to locate any information or records. That phrasing was, ignorance of the law is not a defense. The best defense that Chris Cuomo can muster was all he had done for them. And what influence did Jeffrey Epstein have over Assad? Why is Jeffrey Epstein requesting this information from the CIA in the first place? If there's just nothing in there, why would he, and what specifically did he request? Did he say, is there any open and acknowledged relationship between you guys and me? They go on. The CIA says, with respect to responsive records that would reveal a classified connection to the CIA, in accordance with Section 36A of Executive Order, blah, 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 as amended, the CIA can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records responsive to your request. The fact of the existence or non-existence of requested records is currently improperly classified and is intelligence sources and methods information that is...
All right, we'll go back to this in a second. Let's go back to Teofimo Lopez and the Shakur Stevenson fight.
I am just a punching bag. I hate myself. You're still a champ. This man, emotions are all over the place. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I told you so. I was 100% right with my prediction. Shakur by decision. Shakur should beat him. I also said I do not trust Teofimo's intention. He's too chaotic. He's too up and down. Like, 1 minute you're zen, 1 minute you're a trash talker, 1 minute you're dead. Like, these things,
Granger knows that if you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right,
it's hard to even, quantify what I'm trying to say for a person like Teofimo. It's like, there's people like me. I'm naturally just different. I'm me. I like what I like. I got my upbringing. I do the impersonation. I'm me. I don't feel like I'm contrived or I'm trying or I want people to like me. I don't care. If you don't like me, you don't like me. You know what I mean? I don't really care about that stuff. But then you have people, it's like you got people who are naturally edgy and eclectic, and then they'll dress a certain way. Like Lenny Kravitz. I think Lenny Kravitz is truthfully himself. I don't think he's like a real rock star. So he not
So in other words, what he's trying to say is that Teofimo Lopez is not really that authentic.
trying to dress weird. He's not trying to like be. I think he's just different, biracial, you know, and that's his upbringing. He's a rock star. So if he does this or wears this, that's who he is. But then you got dudes in the NBA or these rappers, and then they're painting their nails and trying to wear a purse and like skinny jeans and bell bottoms and like all types of stuff. And it's like you're trying to be different. So again, edgy and then trying to be edgy. And I always felt like Teofimo's character was an act, like a shtick. You know what I mean? Because one minute he's like Bruce Lee, you be like water. If you put water into a cup, it be calm. The cup. You see water can, but you know he's trying to be the Zen seafood master.
Which he clearly is not, right? He's obviously faking the funk with that type of personality.
And then the next minute he dancing and doing TikTok dancing. Like, who are you? Like, what is your... I understand people don't have one move, but...
Teofimo Lopez is just shooting at anything that he can find to stick. That's really all there is to it.
He's just too all over the place. Are you, like, this chaotic, trash-talking guy? Are you this Jabberwocky dancer? You know, flashy guy? It's like, whatever. And the bad for Teo is... Ain't nobody want to hear that. You done wreaked havoc on the black community with derogatory statements and words or whatever, and the whole world...
Yeah, Teofimo Lopez did that, right? And so that made this fight even bigger based on the elements of race that are involved in it.
Like, endured it, or the black community endured it, and then now you're talking about God hates me. Or he didn't say God hates me, but he was like, I hate myself, and God likes to punish me. Bro, suck it up, bro. Talking about God like...
Also, part of that is main character syndrome, right? Oh, well, how could God do this to me, right? Whereas a person who is actually faithful to their belief, whether that is Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, or maybe even other religions or other monotheistic religions, although that seems to be the only monotheistic religion, but nonetheless, anybody that has spirituality will understand that, yeah, it's not about that. Hold on a second. Understand that, it's not like endured or the black community. God, like, telling him, oh, well, how could God do this to me, right? Whereas, oh, yeah. So the reason why he believes God is doing this to him is because it's main character syndrome, right? It's not so much of the fact that, you know what, everybody goes through this, everybody goes through a struggle. God tests us through trials and tribulations. He just looks at it like I must have done something bad because God usually favors me in other places and other times, and that's sort of what he's conveying in this. Okay, so let's get back to the Jeffrey Epstein files, and then we'll call it a day in a couple of minutes.
Protected from disclosure by this section of the CIA Act of 1949. We can neither confirm nor deny, which is the CIA's response to just about everything. What is this about? Mike Benz made this. Mike Benz, who's been on this show before, made a great point. He said, you know, the way Jeffrey Epstein is requesting this information is basically the way that CIA personnel request personnel files. Previously, according to some of the Epstein files, he had bragged about having a relationship with the CIA, working with the CIA. However, after that time, he denied it. Why did he deny it? Was he perhaps assured that there was no public relationship documented between Jeffrey Epstein and the CIA? Was he... Who was this guy working with? All right, one last thing from the Epstein files that are going viral right now. It's FBI interviews This has the most salacious suggestions and accusations in it. Get to that momentarily. First, I want to take that done with debt.
All right, there's the FBI files that we're going to look into. There's a lot of things going on with this, right? Obviously, it doesn't tell the whole entire story, but it tells enough for us to understand why they're able to reveal this much is because, let's just be honest, the man is unalived, so they're willing to reveal a lot, but why are they not willing to reveal it all and everything, and why there's still some things that are redacted? Because it's really as just simple as CIA assets and intelligence assets protecting whatever it is that they want to be kept a secret, right? For national security defense reasons or whatever reasons they may have. All right. What else? Okay, and then the reason why they're able to release a lot of this, yes, is because he's, unalived, and yeah, so we talked about that. Okay, we also talked about UFC 325, the coping of MMA Guru and his prediction fails. Listen, predictions in MMA is not the end-all, be-all, okay? And I think people are going to watch your channel regardless of whether you get predictions right or wrong. I mean, look, I think you're a weirdo if you somehow score the prediction points for a content creator. Now, look, to understand that they know what they're talking about, let's say that they're kind of right with certain picks, then that's what it is. But when it comes to like the gambling aspect of it, I don't know. That's not my expertise. I don't know about the favorites or the underdogs or parlays or what you can get if you went this way or that way. I mean, all I know is just, yeah, regular MMA and, not the gambling side of MMA. Shakur Stevenson defeats Lopez. Obviously, there was a lot of coping that went on with Lopez as well. A little bit of main character syndrome. And, of course, a lot of people out there happy at the fact that Shakur Stevenson beat Lopez due to the racist remarks that Lopez has said in the past, which, at the same time, also creates for a very interesting fight promotion, because you know how it is whenever there's race involved and when there's that element involved, it always keeps the fight promotion interesting. With that in mind, that is all that I have for this one right now, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one, inshallah.